Where was I? Demons, fear. They feed off the fear. They feed off anger. They feed off sadness. As long as you are constantly enveloping yourself in fear, anger, and sadness, they're going to stick around you and they're going to keep feeding off of you. And, there's the angels, which I don't want to really bid on the angels demon thing because I think that's such a convoluted topic. You don't need the archangels or the archangels and the God's angels and the saints because you have your own. And the funny thing, the trick, is you have your own demons and you have your own, quote, angels. These guides, which I've talked to them and I've had a really good relationship with these guides, and they don't want to be involved with the angel demon thing. The angel demon thing is choosing sides. There are no sides. It's we as humans are on both ends of the spectrum. Part of our life is full of love, happiness, joy, and part of our life is full of anger and sadness. It's just how we are physically beings. Those of us who are aware, we listen to our inner voices. We listen to our demons. We listen to our angels. And they're ours. We don't need anyone else's. So when you have fear, it kind of feeds demons. Well, you want to feed your own demons. So fear is the primal thing. And our own demons don't want to feed off fear. They want to work with us to accomplish the goal. And part of the goal might be a little bit of going through our sadness, going through our anger. Our demons don't want to stick around. They want to help us through these obstacles in our life. And our angels, the positive side, the upper side, will work with these, quote, demons. It's kind of like, opposite sides of the same coin. We as physical beings have to go through these challenges in our life. And the demons will help us through. They'll protect us through it. But we have to learn to listen compassionately and not judge the inner voices. You can't analyze everything as it comes. You can only analyze it after the fact. So you have to just experience it, let it go. I suffered from anxiety for a little while, and I was actually on psychoactive medications to help deal with the anxiety. And unfortunately, the part of it was the anxiety I was going through was caused by my, reaching the upper levels of the awareness, the enlightenment. And I fell back, I was going through, ascension symptoms. It's all part of the process, and unfortunately, you have to experience them. And when you hide them from yourself, you don't experience them as they are and listen to your inner voices, you end up extending things out further, making it last further, making it last longer. And I actually got through them while using the psychoactive medications because the psychoactive medications just kind of put them in pause. They were still just sitting there. The medications help, me quite kind of ignore them, but you ignore them and they're still sitting there. So my guides helped me through it while I was still on the meds. And then I saw a therapist who, I decided I didn't want to be in the meds. And the idea was he worked with a psychiatrist where we started lowering my medication while working with a therapist to, monitor me psychologically so that, you had the person who was dealing with me, my mind, one-on-one, and you had the doctor who was dealing with the medications. And everyone agreed, okay, fine. We'll walk you through it over the course of 6 to 8 months, or maybe even a year, to work you down off your medications. You can't just quit your medications without working with somebody. But you also have to find the person who's willing to work with you, because I admit that I did ask a few times, and the psychiatrist I was working with said, no, you don't really need to work down, your body develops an immunity to it, so you should probably start working up. And I said to him, I feel better now. And then, well, that's part of the process. You'll feel better, but you eventually you're gonna have to start working up. And I didn't want to be on these medications for the rest of my life and wanting to work through them. So, part of the process was I worked through the medications, not talking about the psychic stuff, not talking about the spiritual stuff, but talking about it that I want to, work using more holistic medications, but also wanted to work with the doctors, telling them people want to hear what they want to hear. So you have to learn to tell them what they want to hear within reason, without sacrificing your own self. So I told the doctors, well, I want to work with you, but I also want to work with myself. And, I want to get off these medications because the side effects aren't working with me. And then they asked about side effects, and I tell them they were side effects that I didn't feel like myself. I felt kind of always in a fog, and, I just didn't like being that way. And maybe I'll get off of these, try these for a while. If that's not working out, then we'll try something else. But I kind of want to get off these and try more natural, try more, walking, be more athletic, because doctors do know that if you are aware, if you are physically active, it does help deal with medical problems. If you modify your diet and eat more healthy foods, it will help alleviate some of the psychoactive anxiety issues. One of the anxiety issues is caffeine. Another one is white sugar. These are known. Doctors know these. But it's just people don't want to follow directions. And what the doctor's point of view is they just want to deal with things that's easier for them, because if they find a patient who's willing to work with them on their terms, they'll be able to listen to you. And, you listen to them, they listen to you. Everyone's on the same pace. I really meandered with this one again, but the idea is I think this world is trying to force us into fear. And because I have worked with my own fear, I've come to a realization that I am happier now than I've ever been in my life, except when I was a child. I don't believe the quarantine is necessary as it is. I think it's overextended. I think it's over the top. There's too much. I don't believe the COVID virus or the disease, the virus. How do you believe the virus is as bad as it is? I believe it is there and it will kill people. I believe it's a bad thing, yes. But I don't believe it's as bad as, I think it's 50% as bad as it is. I don't believe the government's as bad as it is. I think it's 50% of that. But they're working with, the bad guys are working with fear, and that's what they want. But all this, as an empath, I don't like dealing with people. I don't like feeling their energy. There's just too many of them. So this quarantine thing, this social isolation has given me the option to avoid people. I can be with quality people, my family, my friends, and that's fine. But with strangers, I can avoid them, and that's fine. And people support this because they want the same thing. They don't want to catch this strange virus because they're going to fear. I don't want to catch their negative energy, and there's no fear in me. I don't have to feel their fear because I've raised my energy to a positive level. I'm getting what I want. I'm able to keep people about 3 feet or more away from me, and a lot of times I can feel their energy if they're close. If I touch them, if they're really close to me, I can feel them. I can feel their energy, and I don't want that. But everyone's staying 6 feet away from each other. Everyone's avoiding each other. They're wearing masks to hide themselves, and unfortunately, I don't like the mask because I think wearing masks is just asking for trouble, a false sense of security, and you end up touching something, and then you move your mask and you catch the disease that someone coughed on a box, and because you have so much fear, you're more likely to catch the disease, which is a big downward spiral. Because one of the ways to lower your immunity is to be living in fear. And it'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy as these people are getting sick. They're feeling sick. And it's a perfect time because right now is allergy season. So people are feeling the allergies. They're not sure if they had the COVID or the allergies. And it's making their symptoms worse. So they're giving themselves the, oh, I got the COVID, or I feel the COVID, even though they might not have it. But again, they're spiraling down with the fear. It's all a perfect scenario for the bad guys. And we who are here, who, even if you believe that the COVID is 100% true, that, you know, it's bad, it's going to kill a lot of people, it's going to kill whatever, 20% of the population, whatever the crazy thing they're going to come up with, it's going to be a lie. It's fine. Whatever you believe is fine. Just be willing to listen to others. You don't have to accept what they have to say, but you do listen, and then try to reduce the fear. And if you have so much fear of this COVID virus, if you have so much fear of the 5G, so much fear of the government, find ways of proactively adjusting your life. So if you're afraid of the virus, avoid people, that's fine. If you want to just wash your hands, that's fine. If you're going to wear gloves, just clean your gloves before you touch yourself. Your gloves are contaminated. I don't like wearing gloves because I think it's a false sense of security, because literally anything you touch on those gloves are now contaminated. Your hands are a great barrier, but plastic gloves, you just have to handle them to take them off and blah, 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 and then they're a waste product. People throwing them everywhere irresponsibly, making others angry because people are littering. And again, anger is another form of fear. Oh, I don't know. Still meandering, but basically the idea is just be good to each other. Try to find your happiness. Try to avoid the fear. Feed your love, feed your happiness, feed your higher self. When you have to work with your lower self, listen to it. Your lower self will tell you, don't kill your ego. Listen to your ego, but don't interact with it. Don't judge it. Don't try to defend yourself from it. Your ego is not really your enemy as much as just a fun little guy who's just trying to protect you in the most backwards way possible, because they're not used to being listened to. So if you start listening to your ego, it'll be better. Okay, I think I've talked round and round in circles enough. What's next?